So I just made an insane AI assistant that runs 100% of my email marketing for real estate, and I'm about to tell you how it could change your entire outreach game and get you more clients. And one of the biggest problems with outreach is that we all get emails that absolutely suck, and yet I still see people sending out canned messages expecting to get leads to respond. But if your goal is to reach more people in less time while actually writing messages that people respond to, here's how you can do it. My AI assistant connects to your CRM, researches every lead on LinkedIn so that you can write messages like you already know them. Then it sends a smart 3-day follow-up sequence, all completely hands-off. This AI can literally handle dozens, even hundreds of leads every single day, track replies, and even nudge towards a booking. Now here's the crazy part. Once it's set up, it only costs around $30 per 1,000 emails it sends. Think about that for a second. If you close just one deal from those 1,000 emails, say at a $3,000 commission, you've just got yourself a 100x return on your investment. And for anyone who's new here, I'm Mike. I've spent the past 2 years working in the AI industry, and now I help business owners and real estate pros use AI to scale their operations and focus working on their business, not in it. So if you're tired of chasing leads and sending emails that no one reads, then stick around. I'm going to show you exactly how this AI works, how to use it to get more real estate clients right now, and why it's a game changer for just about anyone. Let's get into it. All right, so this is probably one of the coolest AI email marketing systems that I've built so far. And one of the reasons why I think this one is particularly interesting is because I've simplified it so much while still allowing it to do everything that I want it to do. I'm actually going to take you through a really cool demo in a second here so you guys can see what this actually looks like in action and imagine what it would be like if you actually had this on your team. And in addition to showing you this email system, I've also got a little surprise over here in the bottom left corner. And this is something I didn't mention in the intro. This is actually a little Copilot email marketing agent that I built that just plugs right into this workflow. It has access to all of my leads and all of my information, so it can answer questions for me, and it can even give me advice on how to improve my email marketing. And before I start to nerd out too much on you guys, let's actually get straight into a demo so that you can see how this all works. Now I've got this hooked up to my CRM, which in this case is a simple Google Sheet. I'm going to pretend like I'm a real estate professional who's trying to reach out to all of these leads on here and write them personalized messages in order to actually hook them up to my follow-up sequence. Now as you can see, I've actually sent messages to everybody on here except for one person, which just happens to be the one and only Kevin O'Leary. Now let's pretend that Kevin here is actually one of our real estate leads, and we actually have his information and his LinkedIn page, so we can actually start sending him some personalized messages and hopefully convert him into a client. Now as I come in here and test this workflow, this is actually going to pull his information, find his LinkedIn, research him, and actually draft a personalized opening message just for Kevin and send that directly into his email. Now within a few seconds, I just received this in my inbox. And now let's pretend like I'm Kevin. Now if you'll actually take a second to look through this opening email, you'll be able to see that everything in it's personalized. The subject says, Kevin, it's Mark, which is super short and super easy to read. The email introduces Mark, which is my fictional real estate broker in this case. Alright, so if you're running an email marketing campaign, you're also going to need some leads to actually send those messages to. So I'm actually creating a brand new AI lead blueprint to get your first 30 leads completely for free using AI with a super simple copy and paste method that anybody can replicate. I'm still working on this, but if you guys want to join the waitlist to get access to this as soon as I release it, go ahead and hit my first link down in the description. Otherwise, if you want to work directly with me, go ahead and hit my second link to book a one-on-one call with me so that we can have a private chat about what AI can do for your business. With that said, let's get straight back into the video. Based off of Kevin's LinkedIn profile, not only do we have a personalized opener here, but the body of the email goes on to actually comment about some of his environmentally friendly work to actually connect him to some real estate opportunities that he'd be interested in based off of his personality. Of course, we wrap up by offering to jump on a call sometime, and then we sign off as Mark with the Sunset Group. And I'm sure right away you guys notice that when I say personalized email, I actually mean that this thing is personalized from front to back. Where a lot of people just toss in a first name, make some generic comments, and call it a day, you could tell that whoever wrote this email right here actually did their homework. And if I'm Kevin, I'm gonna at least know that this person understands me well enough to not waste my time. So that was message number 1 in our sequence. Our Google Sheet has actually updated to show that we have in fact sent message 1. And since Kevin hasn't responded yet, let's go back and activate the workflow again to actually send him message number 2. So let's actually activate this workflow and get message number 2 sent out to Kevin. And again, because Kevin didn't respond to message number 1, the system was able to figure that out. Now if I jump back into my inbox as Kevin, I just received this message from Mark. So again, this is just a simple follow-up message, but again, it's personalized just for Kevin. Basically saying I hope you're having a productive week over at Wonder Trust, and saying that I understand if things get busy, so no worries if my last email got buried. But this time I'm actually using the body of the email to offer him more value based off of something that the AI system thinks that he might be interested in. In this case, we're offering to give him a report on some zoning changes that could impact his property values, just to see if he might be interested in following up about it. And of course, we sign off with a low pressure call to action. Now again, if we hop back into our CRM, we see that both message 1 and message 2 have been sent to Kevin, but he still hasn't responded yet. Now to finish this entire thing out, let's actually send Kevin message number 3 to see if he actually responds this time. All right, so within a matter of seconds, the system figured out that Kevin wasn't interested in our first 2 messages, so it wrote him our third and then got it sent off. Now once more, if I jump into my inbox, sure enough, Kevin just got our 3rd message. So our subject, it says, Kevin, still looking for an investment, which again, a fantastic opening line. And this time it's just a basic message coming from Mark saying that he's just going to follow up one more time to see if Kevin's interested. And again, he's offering value from another angle here to see if Kevin's interested in a market analysis in his area. And of course, after that third message, we're not going to bother him anymore and we're just going to assume he's not interested. But in all, I hope this kind of shows you what you can expect from a system like this. And just personally, I think it's super cool how you can personalize each individual message so that it sounds like you're talking just to each lead. And of course, if we go back into our CRM, our message 3 has just updated, and this all happens automatically so that all of our data stays accurate. All right, so now that we've actually taken a look at those 3 emails in that sequence, and you've seen how we can actually use something like LinkedIn to personalize messages for every single lead and follow up with them a couple of times with even more personalized messages, let's jump into this extra part of the demo that I thought would be really cool to include here. And this is the Pro Email Marketing Copilot agent that I just told you about earlier. Now we can chat directly with this agent and ask it any question about our data, and it'll give us real-time advice about it. So first up, I'm actually going to come in here and ask what my response rate is on my lead list so far. And if you've ever done anything like this, I'm sure you can see how valuable getting this kind of information would be. But let's actually get this sent off and see if the agent gives us the correct answer. So my agent just got back to me and said, okay, I see that you've contacted 5 leads. Out of those 5, 2 have responded, which means that your response rate is 40%. And if we take a look at our sheet over here, all of that information is correct. Now you can really use this agent to go back and forth to give you all sorts of little details about your marketing data. Now I'm going to ask another follow-up question to see if the agent can tell me how many emails I have sent in total so far. And from here, you should be able to read my sheet, count up how many messages and how many leads I have, and then give me a full breakdown about it. So looking at the agent's response, it just read my entire sheet, and he's saying that it looks like I've sent 3 messages to each of my leads here. Then of course, he lists all of the leads I have, and then determines that I've sent 15 emails in total. And again, that is correct. Now this is just super easy to nerd out on. I personally think that this is super cool, but that's actually not all that it can do. It can also search the web and give me advice on some things that I can do to actually improve my email marketing. So here I'm just going to ask the agent if he can give me a couple of quick tips on things that I can do to improve my open rate. And I'll get this message sent off and see what the agent tells me. So it looks like he just got back to me with another full breakdown, and let's take a look at what he said. And he's actually giving me quite a few tips here. So first off, we've got personalize your subject line, segment your email list, optimize your send time. I can clean my email list, can write more compelling subject lines, and I can also A/B test those subject lines. So again, this is all really good advice, and it's super concise, so it's easy for me to just reference really quick if I'm looking for some help on the go, or if I'm looking for some really quick advice about something. So now that we've taken a look at how this email system and how this agent actually work in action, hopefully you can kind of imagine what it would be like to actually work with this, and hopefully you can see some of the value behind this. And with that said, let me actually take some time to break this down a little bit further, tell you a little bit about how it operates behind the scenes, what problems it solves, and why you might want to add this to your team. And whether you work in real estate or business, your time is probably one of the most valuable things that you have. And this system isn't just about sending emails. It's also about getting your time back, about closing more deals, and increasing your lead flow to build better relationships and make more money. So if you're still sending emails out the old way and researching people by hand, then you're definitely going to want to stick around with this. So of course, at the end of this, you want to be this guy right here. You want to be selling fantastic properties, you want to have a great reputation, and you want to know how AI can help you do that. So in this case, we're actually looking at a 2-part solution here. We actually have our AI campaign and outreach system that pulls information from your CRM, personalizes information for every single lead, and then writes a customized follow-up sequence if that person isn't responding. Second, we also have our AI Copilot agent that acts as our personal assistant when it comes to email marketing. It has direct access to the CRM here that you guys were just looking at a moment ago, so it can tap into all of this live data, and it can give us all sorts of stats about our progress and our campaigns. And of course, it can give us real-time advice based off of internet searches. And of course, this doesn't just work for real estate agents. It can work if you're an investor, if you own an agency, if you're in mortgage, or for that matter, it can work for anybody who's in business. Email marketing is one of the most powerful way to get clients, and I'm about to show you exactly why this is the case. All right, so I actually have a fun little infographic here to show you guys to kind of give you an idea of what we're going to be breaking down in this video. So when it comes down to it, there are 3 main reasons why any of this is even valuable in the first place. As you know, there are so many generic emails out there, and I'm sure you probably have an inbox full of them right now. And a lot of the times you don't even bother to read them because you already know that they're not going to have anything to do with you. If we're actually going to approach this from a smart perspective, we're going to want to hit 3 bases right here. First up, we're going to want to use personalization through LinkedIn research. And this is step 1, which is going to really differentiate you from the crowd and really show people that you do your homework. This is essentially where AI is going to be drafting tailored messages using real-time data that it pulls from people's LinkedIn profiles. So this could be anything from their bios to recent posts to their job history, their career information, and even where they went to school. And using an AI system, we can really really use this to personalize outreach in a way that really feels like you know that person. Second up, we're actually going to be using automated follow-up sequences so that you don't have to be doing all this by hand. And as you know, if you wanted to say send 50 emails every single day and have 2 to 3 follow-up emails set up in a sequence on top of that, that would be an incredibly manual process and it would be extremely difficult to handle that. Luckily, the system right here actually watches if the person has responded, and then it filters all of our information based off of whether they've received the first message, received the second message, or even received all 3 messages. And lastly, the step number 3 is actually where our little AI agent comes in. This agent is going to be able to give us some insights based off of the data that we're collecting from our campaigns and who's responding versus who's not, and actually keep an eye on the things that we're doing just to make sure that we're succeeding. All right, so if you're still sticking around, go ahead and let me know down in the comments what part of this video has interested you the most so far. But in the meantime, I'm sure you're wondering why you should even really care about this. You're probably thinking to yourself that there are email marketing softwares out there. Why should I even bother to have something set up like this with AI? And that's actually a really good question. The way that I would respond to that, if you're operating with an email marketing platform, you don't own the entire automation and you don't have as much control over the system. If you built a system like this, in comparison, you have 100% control over every step. You can fully customize how your AI assistant handles your leads. And at the end of the day, you actually own the system. You're not renting it out from somebody else who can just take your service away at any point in time or change the features behind the software that ultimately take away things that you actually enjoyed using. So using a system like this actually allows you to work with AI in a more proactive sense. And with that said, let's actually take a look at some of this stuff and take a little sneak peek behind the scenes here. All right, so number one, the reason why this matters so much is because generic outreach doesn't convert. Personalization is what actually makes people read your emails. If you're like most people who do this manually, you probably spend hours writing emails that barely even get opened, let alone replied to. And a lot of the times things are just so generic that your response rates are just complete garbage. The reason this happens is because you're not actually speaking to people's needs, and therefore they don't listen to you. So then you get stuck in this vicious cycle of wasting your effort, getting no results, and then wondering why everything's happening the way it is. Either that, or you just don't bother to do email marketing in the first place, and then you just leave all the benefit that you could be getting on the table. If low response rates are the problem, then we can fix that by adding personalization and actually getting to understand our clients and our potential leads a little bit better by directly researching them so that you can know exactly what that person wants. And of course, we're using AI, so we can find all those little details. Like we could talk about recent career moves that they might have had, new company news or projects they might be working on, or really any detail that would just make it feel like that you wrote these messages directly for them. And as you saw within that demo, this entire system was able to do that within a matter of seconds. It found a couple of relevant points for Mark based off of his LinkedIn profile, and it used those points to directly integrate those into a real estate offer to show him that he just might be interested in a partnership with us. And because we actually use platforms like LinkedIn to get to know people before we send a message, you can literally skyrocket your opening rates by sending messages that are far more likely to resonate with people. And if you can manage to do this at scale, doing this exact method, then you could scale your business extremely quickly. And again, this isn't just about sending more emails. It's about sending better emails. You don't want to just be that agent who sends those generic, "I hope you're having a great week, want to buy a house" type emails, because ultimately that screams that I don't care what you're doing. I don't care what you need. I just want your money. And you definitely don't want to be that person. So personalization is a must if you're doing any sort of email marketing. So now that we've talked about why personalization matters, let's talk about why consistency matters and how you can actually do that with AI. So if you're like most people, when you send emails, you probably just send one initial email and then maybe a follow-up a couple of days later if you happen to remember. Things get in the way, leads just fall through the cracks, and in the end, you're literally leaving money on the table because you're not getting back to people in a systematic way. And in reality, this is why people use generic emails, because they know the value of being able to reach out to people consistently at high volumes. But if you fail to personalize, then you're completely wasting your effort, which is where this smart follow-up system comes in. The way that I have this system set up is by using a 3-day sequence. For each message that person doesn't respond to, they actually get a follow-up message that's nudging them closer towards actually converting or sharing some information about themselves. For every email we send to people, we're either adding value or adding a fresh perspective or doing something unique so that we're not just annoying them with information that they care nothing about. So with day one, as you saw, we just sent a personalized intro that scraped their LinkedIn profile and sent a friendly email to them. On day two, we're actually giving a quick insight along with a follow-up on that first email in case they missed it. On day 3, we're giving them that final opportunity to reach out, giving one last chance to give some value, and then just ending with a low friction call to action that they can either pick up or decline. Either way, you're making things as easy as possible while still staying consistent by giving each person those 3 opportunities to follow up with you. Everybody that I know who does email marketing swears by this, and I've gone through the exact same thing myself. Most people need more than just one touch point to actually convert into a client. If all you're doing is sending one message because you don't have time to follow up, you're gonna find that you convert way less clients, and this just makes it way too easy to lose out on good opportunities. But luckily, if you're able to be consistent with a system like this, the goal isn't just having more booked meetings, but also building better relationships and increasing the likelihood of those people going from lead to client because they build trust with you. The idea here is that you actually automate this process so that you don't miss any opportunity. Build a pipeline that's just constantly full of new leads. You're able to nurture them even when you're busy with clients that you're working with right now. And while this is all happening, the system keeps track of everybody who's replied and everyone who hasn't, so that you can go and directly engage with the people who are interested. And then the AI can handle the nurturing process of everybody who hasn't yet responded. So to recap, more personalization, more consistency equals more business. And again, most of the magic behind the sequence is actually in your ability to follow up, not just your ability to send one message and then run away afterwards. And if you implement something like this right now, I can almost guarantee that you would start converting more leads. So far, we've talked about why you should care about this system and why it pays to be able to own this entire process, personalize messages, and to send consistent sequences to people to actually follow up and increase their likelihood of turning into clients. But one thing we haven't talked about yet is how do you know if the things you're doing are actually working? And what do you do if you feel like you need some advice but don't want to hire a full-time data analyst? If you've gone through a marketing process like this before, you've probably been buried in data and just overwhelmed, not knowing what to do and how to go about improving what you're working on. And besides, you have all of this vocabulary like open rates, click rates, reply rates, and all of this ends up just becoming a guessing game if you don't have a clear and intelligent way to actually go about this. And this actually leads me to our little AI agent that I showed you in that demo. If you guys will remember, I was able to ask this agent questions directly from my CRM. It was able to give me live responses, and it was also able to make calculations for me and search the internet to give me some up-to-date advice on some things that I could be doing based off of the information it knew about me. And the best part about this is that you can ask questions in plain English, and the agent is available for you 24/7. You can connect more data to this system, and you could just ask it questions like you might want to know which subject lines are performing best, or what's our average reply rate this week, or even why aren't more people booking meetings. And this isn't just some generic ChatGPT advice that you could get for free. I designed this to literally plug into your data to give you tailored feedback based off of what's actually happening in your campaign. So in other words, the better data it has, the more it knows about you, the better advice it can give you, and the better your campaigns will perform, which obviously means you get more clients and make more money. At the end of the day, it's like having a little marketing guru in your back pocket that you can just pull out and ask questions anytime. And this is another thing that a lot of those email marketing platforms are missing. If you're paying to rent out somebody else's service, you still don't have access to something like this that can actually work with you in real time, answer questions, and give you feedback. And ultimately, this just means that you waste less time, you waste less effort, and you make sure that everything that you do is dedicated towards a certain outcome. If you remember back to my intro, I mentioned that this costs roughly $30 per 1,000 emails that you send. And if you're actually able to run this information through an AI Copilot, you'll be able to maximize that $30 investment or however much money you're putting into this. Because in the end, the magic is really the ability to iterate and to adapt based off of what's actually happening here. Since we're using AI, the whole point is to go about doing this intelligently. So that means using the tools that we have at our disposal to just refine our way to making more deals, getting through to more people, which is ultimately going to be what grows our businesses. And just think, if you're working on a project like this and you could go to an expert to ask any question about it, then this is the system that you're going to want to be using. Alright, so with all of that said, I hope you feel a little bit closer to actually becoming this guy right here who's using AI for his email marketing to sell more properties, to build better relationships, and of course make more money as a real estate professional. And because you're able to make smart decisions like this will really put you ahead of the crowd who's burning money, effort, and resources on sending messages that nobody reads and trying to engage with people that'll never become their clients. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and if you made it all the way to the end, I appreciate you for watching. Now, if you're actually in real estate and you wish you had more leads to work with, I'm actually coming out with a brand new blueprint designed to help you get your first 30 leads completely for free using AI. It's a super easy 3-step process that anybody can follow, and I'll also include a couple of bonuses in there just for you guys. Now, because I'm still working on this, you could go down and hit the first link in my description, join the waitlist for this, and as soon as I release it, I'll get it sent out to you guys completely for free. Or if you're actually interested in seeing what AI can do for your business, go ahead and hit my second link in the description to actually book a one-on-one call with me so that we can have a private chat to share ideas and see what AI can do for you. And with that said, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Feel free to drop a like and subscribe down below if you're interested in seeing more content like this. But in the meantime, good luck with your email marketing. Be sure to let me know down in the comments what your favorite part of this video was. And in the meantime, I'll catch you all in the next one.